this was the case a few weeks ago when the stories came out that, oh, we're going to make it work with Ben. We're not trading him. Nobody believed that because It's not a black and white situation. It's not a we absolutely must trade Ben Simmons, nor is it a we absolutely must keep Ben Simmons. If I can get the right package for him, I'm definitely trading Ben Simmons. And I'm going to say this, and this might lean towards you got to move him, but if they bring back this roster as it is, barring major injuries to the other contenders in the East, this Philadelphia team's not reaching the finals. They're a broken team. Not so broken that I'm just going to blow it up and trade Ben for nothing, but they are broken and they need to improve dramatically to win the East. My first call, if I'm Daryl Morey, I know maybe it's a long shot. I'm calling Portland and I'm saying, what kind of package do I need to build around Ben Simmons to get Damian Lillard? And honestly, if I'm Damian Lillard, I've got my eye on Philadelphia. I mean, what better place is there for Dame Dollar than to go play with Joel Embiid? He doesn't have to change his game much, just needs to make sure the big man eats, but he can still do the perimeter thing like he does. If he goes to, people are talking about Golden State for Damian Lillard, that'd be great, but a lot of changes there in terms of his game and all that stuff. So that's one thing. I like the terminology Philly's putting out there, all-star caliber, because that broadens things. Malcolm Brogdon, not an all-star, but all-star caliber. De'Aaron Fox, same thing. So he doesn't have to be a guy that's made an all-star team, but a guy that potentially could. So his value depends on who you talk to, because some people really still like him and think you can build around him, put 4 shooters around him and kind of build around him like the Bucks did with Giannis. Others think he's mentally fragile, he doesn't work that hard, and his motor is so inconsistent that he can't be Giannis or close to Giannis because some games Ben's just not as aggressive as you'd like him to be. So not everybody's in love with Ben Simmons, but some people are.
But enough people are in lust with the idea of what he could be that he is an incredibly attractive trade piece. 24. Not just a criminally underrated Kiefer Sutherland show, also how old Ben Simmons is. 24 years old, with 4 years left on his contract, and an all-NBA team under his belt, and should have won Defensive Player of the Year this year. You are not trading him for a Malcolm Brogdon-centric package. It is Bradley Beal, or it is Damian Lillard, or it is Ben Simmons back on the Sixers. So that's it. Like, that's what now, it's not 1-for-1 for Dame, but luckily the Sixers have drafted well. Tybal is very valuable. Tyrese Maxey is valuable. And when you look around the landscape, whether it's Dame, Beal, or All-NBA, disgruntled All-NBA player to be named in the future that comes available that we don't expect, who can create an attractive package in a city and a team those guys would want to go to, meaning the player that is demanding out? So Oklahoma City has all the picks in the world. Portland is not going to send Dame to Oklahoma City. They're just not going to do him like that. New Orleans has nearly all the picks in the world. And New Orleans also has Brandon Ingram. They are a real contender as far as to be able to trade Ingram and picks for a star. But the star has to want to go there, which means the star has to be comfortable, A, that team's going to be able to contend, B, that Zion is going to be there long term. Philly is a big market with an MVP caliber guy already in place. So I'm not reporting this, but I know this. They are not trading Ben Simmons at his low point value-wise for a B-level player. They're just not doing it. So if Dame comes available, they will be at the front of that list. If Beal comes available, they will be near the front of that list. If neither of those guys come available, Brandon, they are comfortable starting the season with Ben and Joel together and biding their time, which is, in my opinion, exactly what they should do, because you trade Ben for Brogdon and pieces, you're not winning the East. Like you got no and Brogdon's a good player, but that doesn't get you where you need to be, Brandon.
A level, B level, doesn't matter. If they trade Ben Simmons, it will be the biggest regret this organization will ever have. I'm saying it like that. Why? Because this kid played 1 year of college basketball. This dude we know is an all-time NBA defensive player. We know that. So we're talking about a kid who has been afraid to fail in front of people. So yes, we're talking about mental right now. Coach better. Pull more out of him, Doc. You've been here for 9 months. Get more out of him. Sit down with him, Sam Cassell. Talk to him. Get more out of him. Now we're talking about Ben. Ben got to do more. He knows that. But we're talking about a guy, you look a guy in his eye, you say, okay, do you want to get better? Because we know who you are. We know what you're capable of doing. In practice, when you have guys coming in that's trying to take your spot, you shoot all the time. And you shoot the ball well. And that's coming from people that I know in the organization. We're talking about janitors and security guards that watch these pickup games. He's afraid to fail. So what he needs to do is actually work on his game, which he said after the season, he said, I'm not going to the Olympics because I need to work on me. So this is a dude that looked in the mirror and said, I know I need to do better. Now, Wiles, this organization needs to support that because we're talking about a dude that can shut down anybody, any given night. We're also talking about a dude that is he's a top 25, top 30 player in the NBA. What are you going to get back? Now, Nick, I heard you say, Dame. If you get Dame, okay, let's go for it. But Bradley Beal, I would even question that. Like, you need to make this work. He's 24, coach. Yeah, he's in the NBA. We know that. We know he's an all-star. But what would we stop coaching? We stop developing guys when they make it to the big leagues? No.
Okay, so Brandon, let me just dig in on that. Brett Brown was like, hey, I want Ben Simmons to shoot a 3 a game. It felt like Brett Brown put all the support behind Simmons. Everybody wanted him to shoot. Everyone, the fans wanted him to shoot. Right. The coach said, I don't care if you miss it. I just want you to shoot. It felt like a foundation of confidence to build your game upon. And Ben Simmons was like, nah, not going to do it. So I don't know. Certainly they can coach better, right? Everyone can do better. But don't you think from a Ben, I know we've been talking about it from the Sixers' point of view, from Ben's point of view,
right?
Don't you think that there's tremendous value in Ben getting a fresh start somewhere and just a clean break, turn the page so there isn't all this emotional baggage, this weight, the passing up on the dunk and the bad free throws. In an environment like Philadelphia, which is known for being pretty harsh on players, they've been super supportive of Ben publicly, cheering him and rooting for him and wanting him to shoot. So don't you think that there is some value to him going somewhere else and just starting brand new, totally fresh?
Right. Yeah, there's always value in when it's done, and moving on and going somewhere else with a clean slate. But that's the easy way out. We always see that in professional sports.
Okay.
These are relationships. We're signing contracts here. In a relationship, you're dating somebody or you're married. What do you do when things aren't going right? You sit down and you try to work it out. Hell, you may even need to bring in a counselor. So you don't just take the easy way out year after year after year. And it's not just a NBA problem. It's an NFL problem. It's a professional sports problem. Sit down, figure it out, coach, develop, player. Look yourself in the mirror and think about what you need to do. Perfect examples is James Harden. What did we do just 2, 3, 4 years ago? Oh, he's ball dominant. Oh, he can't play with other people. What else did we say? Oh, he doesn't want to play any defense. And then last year in the bubble, what did we see James Harden do to the detriment of himself and his team? Actually listen to everybody in the media and start working on those things. Now he took that to New York with the Brooklyn Nets, and he started to sacrifice. He started to get other guys involved. He started to play defense. Hell, he was the best defender on their team. So I use James Harden as an example, Chris, because there's sometimes players where they look at themselves, they hear everybody else, and they say, you know what, they may be right, let me work on me. So my thing with the organization is, won't you sit down with Ben Simmons and figure out if he's in a space right now where he's willing to listen and if he's willing to learn. That's what they need to do.
Brandon, I'm not high on the Harden comparison to Simmons situation, but I think you made some good points. Look, Doc Rivers is getting a pass because of Ben Simmons' struggles. Everybody's piling on Ben, so nobody's looking at Doc right now, so that's a decent point. But here's the thing, and you talk to people about this around the league that are close to the situation. The question with Ben Simmons is, does he want to be a superstar or does he want to be a celebrity? Okay, Ben has shown, a lot of people feel like he just wants to be a celebrity. He's got his max money. He's good. He's making all-star teams. And he's been content with that. Because the fact is, Brandon, he hasn't worked hard enough on his game. He hasn't worked hard enough on his mental. Like, you notice, if you go see a sports psychologist or somebody, it's only going to help if you really open up and buy in, right? If he doesn't share and doesn't talk about what the real issue is with why he won't shoot, it's not going to help him. And he has talked to people. So I'm with you in that this dude has great potential. But he has not shown, even going back to LSU, you mentioned 1 year in college, that dude was by far the best dude in the country. Why didn't they win? Why didn't they win? Does he have the intangibles, too? So I've got major questions. If I can get a good package, and let me just say this lastly. Bradley Beal, Washington, you ain't putting Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook together. So unfortunately, I mean, maybe a 3-team deal, but that doesn't seem to be a possibility.
Okay, so Chris, everything you said, 100% right. Obviously, you've been covering the game for 57 years. Okay, you're an old dinosaur in this game. You know everybody in the league. So everything you said is 100% right. And so here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I know, but I'm saying I know. Everything you said, Ben Simmons is looking at this and saying, you know what, they're right, and I need to work on that. From working harder, and also I need to shoot. So what do I need to do? That's why I'm saying that this will be the biggest regret that they have ever made, because you ship this kid out now. Nick, what's going to end up happening is he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to light it up. I promise you. Now, lighting it up for Ben Simmons ain't 30, 35. But what it is being able to impact the game offensively and continue to do what you're doing defensively.
And that's good. And by the way, that's why you don't trade him for 50 cents on the dollar. But everything you're saying could be true. And it could also be true that even if he takes these steps we're talking about, that he and Embiid are not a great basketball fit together. And so the other reason that I think the Sixers, listen, these playoffs have been disastrous for Philly, obviously, with one exception. I think Giannis's play, and if they win the title, helps Ben Simmons' trade value. Because what's the thing we say with Giannis? Don't shoot. Actually, Giannis, we know you can't shoot. We don't want you to. Stop taking those 3 threes a game. Quit it. And Ben isn't Giannis, but there are some similarities. And I do wonder if teams around the league are saying, okay, give us 90% of Giannis or whatever Ben is, and we will build a team similar to how Milwaukee has built one, where he can be our best player but not always our focal point. And so I do think that when you see what Giannis is doing, there are teams saying, all right, we're not going to get Giannis. It's almost impossible to draft a guy like Giannis. Like, you hit 1 in a million. But there is a similar type player who we know is available right now. And he's only 24, and we would have him under contract control for 4 years, and we would have time not only to develop him in our sports development, sports psychology, all that system, but also, Jenna, we would have time to surround him with a team built around him, similar to what Milwaukee has. Yeah. So I do think that Giannis's run, in an odd way, makes Ben more attractive to a team that is trying to take the next step.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.